Happy mid-morning, gang. Okay, I'm going to put this one out early today because come noon, I want to watch the inauguration and everything that's going on so I can pay attention. If you noticed what happened this morning, Tony Fauci, along with Mark Milley, along with the January 6th committee, all were issued blanket pardons by the potato-in-chief that they can't be held responsible for anything that they did. Now, there's a little problem with some of this stuff, and maybe people are misunderstanding correctly everything that's going on. You see, here's what we've got. A president can only pardon somebody based on federal crimes committed. Did you know that? Okay. That means all 50 states' attorney general and 350 million people can still prosecute him, prosecute any of them. Okay. Now, going after an Adam Schiff in California, don't see a California AG doing that. Adam Kinzinger in Illinois, don't see a Illinois AG doing that. Liz Cheney, she might have something to worry about in Wyoming. Okay. But then you can also look at Mark Milley. Okay. Mark Milley's getting a presidential pardon. However, same thing. Doesn't prevent anybody in the states, nor does it prevent the military from recalling him to active duty and court-martialing him. Okay. Where a lot of people are saying these criminals are getting off scot-free, not necessarily. Anthony Fauci is currently under investigation by Ron DeSantis in Florida. They are pursuing this. Florida may be the one that gets Fauci his day in court, if not his life in jail. I mean, again, like I said earlier, this guy is Joseph Mengele 2.0, okay? Crimes against humanity, yeah. If there's anything, you can certainly expect this. If there's any silver lining to this, Fauci will be judged one day. It may not be by man, but the man upstairs will certainly be taking care of that one. The funny part is, with all of this preemptive pardoning, if you want to call it that way, kind of like he did with Hunter Biden. Oh, I'm just going to pardon him for anything he did for the last 10 years. I want you to watch something Joe said when he took office.
President Trump is reportedly considering a wave of preemptive pardons. Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of precedent it sets and how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons.
That's not the way we're going to do it in my administration, right? Really, Joe? Sure seems like you're running cover for every one of your criminal cohorts for everything that they've done during your presidency to destroy this country. If you get a little bit further into this, like I said, the J6 committee, they're getting preemptive pardons here. Do they want them? Let's listen to what Adam Kinzinger had to say.
The only reason I know to ask for a pardon is because you think you've committed a crime.
I only know of one reason to seek a pardon, because you're worried that you're guilty, that you committed a crime.
Gee, Adam, do you think you've committed a crime? I guess you did. Maybe we could look back on what you put it in writing as well as verbally, because this is what you posted on Twitter years back. Sure seems to me like Mr. Kinzinger was towing the Rhino/Democrat talking point parrot that day because you think you've committed a crime. Gee, Adam. What do you think we think after this now? going back on what you said before, I want to see you shovel your way out of this hole. But it isn't only Adam Kinzinger. How about what Adam Schiff had to say a while back?
The president-elect has also talked about prosecuting members of the January 6th committee like you. I know you said you don't want a preemptive pardon from President Biden. Is that because you think the Trump administration will not actually prosecute?
I don't know what the Trump administration will do, but it's for a couple of reasons. First, those of us on the committee are very proud of the work we did. We were doing vital, quintessential oversight of a violent attack on the Capitol. So I think it's unnecessary. But second, the precedent of giving blanket pardons, preemptive blanket pardons on the way out of an administration, I think is a precedent we don't want to set.
And you've communicated that to the president, President Biden?
Communicated it both publicly and privately to the administration.
And just for good measure, why don't we take a look at also what Adam Schiff put in writing? This is one of his tweets. Amazing how all these people, animals, monsters, Satanists, disgusting pieces of flesh, go back when all of a sudden they're the ones in the crosshairs. See, this is the thing. None of them thought that they would ever have to face the music. And so now, when the tables have turned and they're on the defensive, oh, well, it's different for me. I didn't commit a crime, but I thank the president for, covering my ass just in case, right? Now, I'll give you one other thing, especially when it comes to the J6 committee, is by accepting a pardon that now removes their Fifth Amendment ability to avoid answering questions, because on the grounds that it may incriminate me, you can't be incriminated anymore. So now you have to answer honestly. So gee, could we start getting some more of the truth about the witch hunt that January 6th was? That's a very good possibility. We'll see if that one happens. But I want to give you this. As I'm recording this, it's about 9:30 here on Monday morning, so inauguration is 2.5 hours away, which means Joe still has 2.5 hours to do more damage. Not saying he's going to, but I want you to think about this. What are the possibilities of Joe at 11:45 saying, I'm pardoning anybody in the United States illegally? He can do it. I looked this up to make sure of this, that you do not have to be an American citizen to get a presidential pardon. Again, it's only for federal crimes, but crossing the border illegally is a federal crime. And before somebody says, oh, we can't do it because no, you'd have to pardon everybody just by their name, that's not true either. Example to be used, Jimmy Carter pardoned every one of the Vietnam draft dodgers. We got 2.5 hours from when I'm recording this until the world changes. Definitely for the better. There is no hopefully, because it can't get any worse. In the last 4 years, we've heard about the rule of law. Joe Biden, in the last 2.5 months, has completely turned the rule of law on its head. He's completely destroyed the legal system in the United States. Now, you're not judged by a jury of your peers. You're judged by the whims and wants of whoever's sitting in the White House. That's pretty scary, because this also sets precedent. That's the thing, and you know how courts use that all the time. Well, in such and such case, we ruled this way, so we're following precedent, we're going to do it this way. This is where it gets quite scary. Pardons were originally written into the Constitution to right wrongs, that somebody was overcharged or somebody was falsely imprisoned. It wasn't for a president to protect the people that were covering up their own political corruption. In 2.5 hours, we get rid of, by far, the worst president the United States has ever seen. I mean, I don't care who you want to compare it to. Jimmy Carter, Woodrow Wilson, pick one, okay? Joe Biden did more damage to this country in 4 years than any other president came close to. Joe's all proud of the 10,000, roughly 10,000 pardons and commutations that he gave here in the last 2.5 months. Most of them are wrong. Sure, there were some people that probably should have gotten pardoned. I'm not going to deny that. Okay. But this has got to be fixed. You can't wave a magic wand again and say, all the transgressions you committed in the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, they're now all forgiven. There's only one entity that is allowed to forgive your sins. And he ain't getting inaugurated today. Pinball out.